each other, okay? And for the 100th time, we're not in Nigeria, and I'm not your Nigerian woman. I'm a Nigerian American, and I have some rules. So no, I'm not coming over your house to cook for you. Take me home. Whatever, you're not the don't shit, I can't think about you. So we finally left the restaurant and argued all the way back to the dorms. I was furious. I couldn't believe I got all dolled up in my sexy new shoes, my hair and makeup on point, just to go back to the dorms hungry. I was not happy. So I never spoke to Tunde again after that night.
Hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. And I'm your host, Odunayo Magic Odumi, aka Ayo Magic, the girl from Schenectady. So that clip you just saw was another clip from my one-woman show where the main character explains being ghosted on her first date with Tunde. So today's topic, being ghosted. I got a few things to say about this one, but first, let's hear from the amazing male and female panel on this one.
Have I ever been ghosted? Yes. Now you mentioned something about while dating. How long is considered dating seeing somebody? Because it's like, I don't think I've ever been ghosted by somebody like I've hung out with more than like 3 or 4 times. But it's like a couple of times, and then afterwards it was like, yeah, things were going good, and then I got ghosted. I think I got ghosted once, when I first moved to LA. I met this young lady and we was having a good time just hanging out. We met at a bar in Santa Monica or something, and then after that we hung out a couple of times, and then out of the blue, just their response to my text, and then I have this habit, I don't like to double text, but this one time I double text, and then when I didn't get no reply, so I let the situation be, but I didn't understand it because we had such a great time, and typical, she was already making plans about seeing me the following week or the things she wanted to do, and then they replied to my text. I was like, okay, maybe she's married or something. Probably the husband or the boyfriend read the text messages, got to throw the phone away or whatever. And the other part, have I ghosted somebody? Yeah, that one I'm not proud of because I am not good at breaking up with people. So I've done plenty ghosting because that's the only way how I know how to end situations.
No, I've never been ghosted. Yes, I have ghosted. And I know, right, Verdi, you would think that I would have had that whole experience, but no, I'm really over here. I'm really struggling over here trying to remember, do I remember anybody ghosting me? And I can honestly say no, but I can honestly say I have ghosted people, but not on the wood standpoint. I'll tell you, if something's off, I'll say, look, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, and I'll give you a chance to fix it. You don't want to do it, then I'm going to tell you, we don't need to connect anymore. And if you still call me, then that's when it's like, boop, block.
Okay.
And I'm done because why do I need to keep that connection? Now, let me just say, I haven't had to do it a lot because I personally, like I said, I am a friendly person. I pretty much try to get along with everybody. So if I block you, you really got a fucking problem.
Well, I could say that I have been ghosted. I was dating a young lady, and she moved out of town without even telling me. Basically, I was at work, and she called me up, and while I was with a client, and broke up with me. And then I found out that she had moved out of town. So yeah, that was an interesting way to ghost somebody. No, I have never ghosted anyone. I've never had no desire to do anything like that. If I wanted to move on from somebody, I basically formally told them, because I know that ghosting somebody, it can really have a deleterious impact on people from a psycho-emotional standpoint.
so the first one, I actually ghosted somebody because they were very like demanding. Like I was like so busy and I was telling him like I'm gonna try to hang out with you and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, if you wanted to make time, you would have made time. And like I'm just like, and he just kept like harassing me, I felt like. So I blocked him. So I guess that's kind of like considered ghosting because I never gave him an explanation. I just was like, I don't got time for this because he's doing too much. And then I got ghosted before too. I think I don't know why I got ghosted. A few months after he ghosted me, he reached out and he said he was like going through things, I guess. I don't know. But like he initially just like went from messaging me and calling me every day to like not hit me up anymore. And it was just weird because I'm like, how do you go from being really consistent to not being consistent? So
I have been ghosted before. Actually, I have a PhD in being ghosted. I got my PhD from Ghosted University. My concentration was multiple forms of being ghosted and the reactions to them. So the worst one I've ever had, they have a pattern. Starts off, I start a communication line, then conversation seems pretty good. Next thing you know, poof. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I always wondered, like, was it something that I said? Was it something I did? But the worst one actually happened. I was talking to somebody and we were about to really like amp it up, like really get into a whole vibe, I guess you can say. And the conversation just stopped one day. And I had decided to go visit her dorm because we were in college. And I go to the door and she lives by herself. Like these dorms were single room dorms. So I go and I knock on the door and then I hear a dude in there and it wasn't hard to guess. I was like, yeah. This had been like 2 months. Now, why didn't I think to go and just, knock on the door already? I was naive. I was like 21, 22 years old at the time. I felt I was like naive. So I was like, you know what? That's my fault.
Verdi on having a PhD and being ghosted. You know what? You're not the only one, Verdi. I'm sure we can all relate to that. And that's just messed up that you showed up to her dorm room and you could hear a man in the background. That's just wrong. I'm sorry. That's just not right in so many levels. But anyways, I have a confession to make. I do have to be transparent. I am not proud of it, but I have ghosted men multiple times in the past. And the reason being is because of the same reason Ashley mentioned, consistency. I have to agree with Ashley. I have been on dates with men multiple times and they were being consistent, and all of a sudden they started to fade off or pull away. And basically I felt I made it easier for them to ghost me and to pull away since I saw the consistency wasn't there anymore. So they were probably already about to ghost me. I just made it easier for them by ghosting them first before they ghosted me. So we kind of just ghosted each other, right? But that still doesn't make it right. I wouldn't say that's a good thing. So, but that's my reasoning. Now, I do have to say, knowing what I know now, I would not ghost anybody that I'm dating. I definitely don't recommend ghosting. I think it's better to just be open. If you're not interested or you're not feeling somebody, it's better to just be honest. Because going back to what Terrence on the male panel mentioned about him never ghosting anyone because, he knows it can really mess somebody up, mentally. Like people can start thinking, oh, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe it's something I did or something I said. I definitely think that is also a real thing. And I think for that reason that we should definitely try to be more open and more honest when we are dating people. Because the truth of the matter is, ghosting is never about you. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing you did wrong on the date. I believe ghosting is more on the person who's actually doing the actual ghosting. The person who starts to pull away, it's obvious something's going on, like they have a second, life, they're married, have another relationship, or sometimes they're just scared. They're just afraid. Maybe you're too powerful, you're too real for them, and they can't deal with, your power and your strength and your openness and your honesty, and it's easier for them to just be a coward and just ghost you. So I think that it's very important for us men and women to realize that we're not the problem when we're being ghosted. That it's the person who's doing the ghosting that has the issues, that has, unresolved personal issues that they need to deal with. And another thing, a lot of times, especially with men, when you've been ghosted and they've ghosted you for like, say, a month or two or longer, they tend to come back. Yeah, they tend to maybe call you or check up on you, or sometimes I think it's just a game. They want to see if they can win you back. In my opinion, don't take them back. No, I don't agree with that. We have to get to a place in our lives where we've grown and we're evolving and we're, becoming a better and smarter person in our dating lives, and we're making bigger and better choices for ourselves. And we don't want to keep going backwards with the same people who have let us down, or more importantly, who have ghosted us, whatever reason. So if they come back, in my opinion, don't take them back. Just keep it moving. Date somebody else. Look for somebody else that you can trust that's not going to ghost you. That's just how I feel. All right. It is time for the battle of the sexes dating scenarios. So once again, these are multiple choice questions where the men are answering questions based on what a woman would do in the scenario, and the women are answering questions based on what a man would do in the scenario. Let's take a look. Lucy and Ricardo have been dating for 3 months, and according to Lucy, they have a great and healthy relationship. However, on Valentine's Day, Ricardo takes her out to dinner and tells her, "This is not working for me. I'm dating someone else." What happens next? A, Lucy throws her drink in his face and walks out of the restaurant. B, Lucy says, "You chose Valentine's Day to tell me this." Or C, Lucy says, "What does she have that I don't have?"
Oh,
B. I think B.
You guys go.
Then you need a backstory on Lucy. Is Lucy crazy? Like, what kind of woman is Lucy? Yeah, B sounds like the responsible.
B sounds like the responsible one.
But if Lucy is who I think Lucy is, you ain't got a drink in the face.
I was thinking about that drink in the face, but it's kind of a big action for some people, but like he deserve a drink in the face. But
yeah, but you don't deserve it, because at the end of the day, dating is like gambling. You win some, you lose some. You feel me? So it's like, okay, yeah, I picked an asshole this time. I lost some, and move on, and to the next gambling table and trying to make a winning bet. But yeah.
10 seconds.
I'll go with you. So if you
I'm thinking B. I'm thinking B.
I'll go with B.
Okay. B is the correct answer.
They throwing a drink in somebody's face either, really.
But y'all can see me throwing a drink in the face.
I didn't say I couldn't.
You know what? The sad part is y'all just might be right.
Yeah, see, come on now.
Well, the reason why I say that is, so you wait till Valentine's Day to tell me that. You could have told me that on the phone.
Exactly.
Like, we didn't have to go out on a date for that.
Dressed up and everything.
Dressed up, brought you out, and I'll tell you this. Yeah, ain't about to splash somebody. Somebody about to get splashed with Ina.
Wait, yeah, because then the next thing that's gonna probably come out their mouth is, "Hey, so we going Dutch since I'm gonna date somebody else?" Oh yeah, Dutch this.
Ina, Dutch this. Okay, truthfully, I have to say that no, I don't think I would ever spill a drink in a man's face in public. I want to say no, I wouldn't do that. However, sometimes, especially us women, in the heat of the moment, you never know if something like that happens where it's Valentine's Day, you got all dressed up, he broke up with you, and then he says the wrong thing to you. I think any woman in that scenario might have just spilled the drink in his face. I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's something I would do, but you just never know when you're in that moment. And if that guy says another thing that's wrong, I think any woman could overreact and throw the drink in his face. I mean, let's be real. It's Valentine's Day. You got me dressed up, take me to a restaurant to break up with me. That's just wrong. He was asking for a drink in his face in that scenario, if you ask me. So anyways, on that note, that concludes today's episode of Ask the Girl from Schenectady. Now, please tune in to next week's episode where the topic will be, do women cheat more or better than men? You don't want to miss that one. And as usual, please feel free to comment below if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any topics that you want to see in a future episode, feel free to comment below. Or as always, you can follow me on Instagram. Again, I am at IoMagic, and that's spelled AYO